Good evening and welcome to Blueprint Explosive Exclusive. I'm Madhavdas G. Viewers, Pakistan kept denying the scale of destruction that Indian strikes caused at the enemy nation, even as proof mounts. But now their own are demolishing Pakistan's lies and revealing how India's aerial strikes led to annihilation of Pakistan's military assets. Pakistan's retired Air Marshal Masood Akhtar has admitted that the Pakistan Air Force lost an airborne warning and control system for AWACS aircraft during India's Operation Sindoor. In an interview to a Pakistan journalist, Akhtar said that on the morning of May 10th, India's BrahMos missiles struck the Bholari Airbase in Pakistan, with one of the missiles destroying AWACS aircraft parked at the hangar. He also went on to admit that there were casualties as well. And Times now learns that India used 12 indigenously built BrahMos missiles to target Pakistan's air bases on the 10th of May. Sources say that 12 targets were pounded in Pakistan using BrahMos missiles, and one of them, as per the retired Air Marshal, who's Pakistan's Air Marshal, in fact, his own admission says, destroyed an AWACS aircraft at the Bholari Air Base. But what exactly are the AWACS aircraft and why are they so important? It's an airborne warning and control system, and this is, of course, very important because it plays a critical role as far as the air defense network of any country, as far as its aircraft are concerned. In fact, they are equipped with radar and sensors, which also gives them, in terms of real-time surveillance, it provides early warning in terms of any kind of attack that's launched against them, also provides command and control capabilities. It's also designed to detect and track incoming threats as well, and helps coordinate air operations across vast distances due to the fact that it is airborne. Let's also give you some breaking news coming in. Times now has accessed more proof of destruction in Pakistan on account of Indian strikes. It has now been revealed as to what was destroyed at the Nur Khan Airbase. Analysis of the satellite pictures of Nur Khan Airbase by experts reveals that two of Pakistan's mobile command and control centers were destroyed in India's strikes. Let's take a look at the satellite pictures first. These are, in fact, the two mobile systems that we're talking about that have been destroyed. Why is this important? Because this is a next generation mobile mission control center that we are told, and two of them are very clearly seen destroyed at the Nur Khan Air Base. Very, very significant aspect, because these are trailer based mobile command units that we are talking about, and they have been completely destroyed. Also very important is the fact that these mobile command centers are significant because they are not just next generation control centers. There are two of them that have been destroyed, as we told you, and they are trailer based command and coordination centers which are meant as a backup for the Pakistan Air Force's command and control, equipped with artificial intelligence for decision-making developed by the Turkish military and the Pakistan Air Force's Central Artificial Intelligence Command. CENT AIC is Pakistan Air Force's AI division. Let's quickly, in fact, bring across our guests and try to make us understand what really, get us a better perspective, what really happened over here in Pakistan. We have Atul Dinkar Rane, who's the ex-CEO and MD of the BrahMos Aerospace. We have Air Marshal RGK Kapoor, who's an ex-Air Officer Commanding-in-Chief of the Central Air Command. Marshal VPS is also with us. He's the PVSM and VSM. We have Dr. Anantakrishna M, independent defense journalist, also joining us. Let me start with you first, Air Marshal Kapoor. Just to give our viewers a sense of what has happened in Bholari and Nur Khan, how important would these, control centers have been for the CENT AI command of the Pakistan Air Force? Because these are supposed to be next generation, they're mobile, and they really have been completely destroyed if you go by what we are seeing in these pictures.
So what we are talking about is a mobile control center, a mobile system which can take on the job of the entire command and control of air operations or any other operations. It just depends on what that mobile command and control center has been built for, specified for, and structured for. And so it just depends on what was the requirement. What we see in those satellite imageries are two trucks. And what I've seen on the social media, as some inputs have come out, are that there would be on top of this big trailer mounted system, kind of a container system, will be the communication system. So what we see in the picture is that the trailer mounted system is under a shed. And so I do not see it with its antennas and its satellite communication systems already out. So what I would suppose from the inputs that are available through the satellite imagery is that these were the systems that were kept to take over the command and control, to move out when the situation arises, if their main command and control system or center, which I'm very sure is an underground system or a center, if that gets destroyed or gets damaged, or the communications break down, then the communications and command and control shift to this. So this is a kind of real-time shifting over to the system. It will take very little time for the system to move out and be deployed and connected to the entire command and control system.
Right.
So by hitting this, it's a clear message that that we know where your command and control is, and we know what to target. And once you know what is to be targeted, this is a message that the next would be your main command and control system.
Absolutely. And Marshal Rana, when you look at something like this, how long does it take for an Air Force to typically build such a capacity? Because it's not something that can be bought overnight and replaced. You know, even if they are to place, yet another order with Turkey, getting it, implementing it, training people, it's going to be in months or years that, in fact, they will be able to even get such a system in place, notwithstanding the other losses that the Air Force has faced.
No, this is very complicated process. It can't be developed overnight. This facility, I'm sure, was already there, if not already operational. There has been news that there were 2 Turkish people who died. I'm not sure whether they died in this very attack. Most likely they did. So this was something to do with a command and control facility being set up by Turkish. Whether fully operational or not, we can't say. But one thing is very certain, that this was something very, very important. Our intelligence must have given us that kind of input, that this is something which is very important target, because you see there were so many other targets out and open, and this has been the story of our targeting in this conflict, that it was very, very precise. And you have taken out only these 2 shelters. And if you see there's hardly any damage around those.
Absolutely.
So there was a very precise planning and a very perfect attack to take on these 2. So there are 2 possibilities. One is it was a mobile command and control center, which would be this in case their ADOC is stuck, then you would take on this. Or it could possibly be a UAV ground control station, because Turkish are more there for the UAV operations, and whatever little knowledge I have, they are not so much yet into the air defense functioning part of it, but more into UAV operations. So this could also be a possibility that it was a UAV ground control center. But whatever it was something very, very important.
Absolutely. And in fact, Dr. Anantakrishna M, the pictures, of course, have suggested that this was a mobile control center. We've seen some of, the information coming in that this was perhaps, part of the AI programs as well, important from the future proofing of the Pakistan Air Force perspective is concerned. What are your sources telling you in terms of the analysis of these images?
Yeah, Madhav, in fact, I have little bit to add to that what the two gentlemen spoke. I shared those images with somebody who is very actively involved in Indian Air Force such operations, Wing Commander Sudhakaran, and he in fact tells me that from the images available, it is very clear that it is a it's a top-notch communication command structure which has been set up by the Turkish, and if you look at the trailer length, the kind of images available, it is very, very clear that we have hit a very critical means military establishment that perhaps also was manning the VVIP communication systems, all that. So it is really, really it is grounded. It is it's not very easy to build these systems. As the gentleman said, overnight it can't be built. So it is going to be very difficult for Pakistan, considering a lot will emerge in the next few days. But we have really hit Pakistan where it hurts. These particular images, what you've shown, it's very, very clear that, you know, a lot of damages has been done there.
Right. And similar sort of scenes that we've seen as far as Bholari is concerned. And I want to bring in Marshal Kapoor in on that. Marshal Kapoor, of course, the person there, of course, in Pakistan, the official there, the retired official says that it is, in fact, BrahMos. There were 4 BrahMos missiles used. It was a hangar that was hit, the AWACS aircraft destroyed, and several personnel there also who died. So one thing that is very clear is the precision with which, if this officer, the retired Air Marshal, is to be believed, the precision with which the BrahMos missile has struck 4 times at the same hangar.
You see, it is not only precision. The most important part is intelligence. So to hit a target and to hit something where it is a dynamic situation, that means we are talking about an AWNC aircraft which has landed, taxied into a hangar, and now it is being what normally is done is once the AWNC aircraft lands, all the data is then milked out on computers and then sent to command and control system for analysis and for further utilization. So what is important is the sensor to shooter or intelligence. In this entire strike, the beauty of this strike is intelligence. Because we came to know that there is an aircraft which is landed, taxied into the hangar, and thereafter we planned a strike in shortest possible time. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, go ahead. We can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. So it is a victory of a very, very synergized activity which involved multiple agencies. And that is the beauty of our system, which is now being seen by the world. That we can undertake dynamic targeting, and because these images and all are always available. There's nothing great in having an image, but what is important is what is inside the hangar. That was more important. And once this cools, what happens is their ears and eyes, and they have limited number of these aircraft, and the basic utilization of these aircraft are for both offensive and defensive operations, but majorly for the defensive air operations.
Right.
And so any loss like this would hurt it maximum. Also, Bholari is a base where there are fighter aircraft. Absolutely. And so I'm pretty sure that it is quite possible that some of the fighter could have been in the hangar with a lot of personnel who are looking after that. And when AEWC has a lot of controllers who are there are technicians, there are maintainers, everybody is there. And so when this whole task is going on and the nation knows the importance of keeping these aircraft airborne for maximum amount of time, I am sure there'll be a lot of people also who are there.
Absolutely.
And so this is a combination of people being there. So it has hurt them in terms of capability, in terms of the aircraft, in terms of people who are trained.
Absolutely.
And in terms of the surprise that has been achieved.
Absolutely. And let me go across to Mr. Atul Rane, because he's the ex-CEO and MD of the BrahMos Aerospace. And Mr. Rane, simple question. How has the BrahMos proved itself in this entire mission, would you assess? Because, you know, multiple areas where BrahMos has struck. Of course, if you go by the retired Pakistan Air Marshal, it was 4 BrahMos that struck the Bholari, airbase, taking out an AWACS, which is, of course, a huge, a win as far as India's side is concerned. But clearly, of course, in terms of the precision of the BrahMos, it has proved to be extremely reliable.
I'll start with
I apologize for the poor quality of that connection there. But Ananthakrishnan, would you like to come in on that? The BrahMos, of course, is something that India has had for quite some time. There are multiple modes in which India can use it, whether, surface to surface, air to surface, and also the very fact that it is extremely reliable. It has a computer on board where the exact GPS coordinates can, deliver pinpoint precision as far as BrahMos is concerned.
Yeah, so before coming to BrahMos, I want to just add on to what Air Marshal Kapoor said. It's very, to me, we have hit the eye in the sky, the SAP system. It also shows a tactical error big tactical error from Pakistan, because apparently this system was on a mission. It came back, landed, it had turnaround time and back and go for another mission. So we were watching it enter the hangar, So remember, it is just not that aircraft what we hit, the eye in the sky, but also there'll be a lot of people, in that particular base at that point of time. So the damage is huge, and systems, all that. Coming back to BrahMos, what else, India needs to celebrate Make in India, or, because first time I told you, in times now in the previous discussion that BrahMos has proved his might. By 2004 first flight, we waited for 21 years it to be used against an enemy target, and precision. And we, an Air Marshal, a top Air Marshal, also tells me that we used both land version and air version, more of air version. Look at the precision at which it, it has struck. And, we had to really wait this long to see the might of BrahMos. It is one of the most deadliest supersonic missile in the world. And now we have another new facility that has come up in Lucknow. In a couple of years, I know for sure that a lot of scientists at IISc in Bangalore and many other academic institutions and missile labs are working on the BrahMos 2. So in terms of that, that particular thing, we have ticked the box, the supersonic
Air Marshal Rana, would you agree with that analysis? BrahMos really proving its mettle. It's been 2 decades in the making. Of course, we have a huge inventory of that. But, without getting into the specifics in this particular case of Bholari as well, do you think that it's a clear, and whether it's 12, whether it's 15, however many we may have used, BrahMos has really proved its might this time round?
Absolutely. I think we couldn't be prouder than this. The results are there for everybody to see. And this is the first time we have utilized BrahMos. And you see their accuracy, like I told you in the earlier previous attack as well, which we were describing on a command control centers. So its precision is in terms of just few meters. So, CP is this kind of thing is not very much available in today's weapon system. And this is purely indigenous. The platform from where it has been launched is more or less indigenously produced. So I think this is something that India has come a long way in terms of our defense production. And coming to this attack in particular, that what I wanted to say is that luckily for them, this was not the mission, just returning with all the crew and the AD controllers on board. It was, I think, in the hangar, and there was a death of one air defense weapon controller. They talked about squad leader, who was probably, they had just returned. They were working, probably downloading the data or doing some other, functions out there. There are a lot of airmen. They've agreed 5. They've asked, they said 5 people died, but there could be much more.
It could be much higher. Sorry for interrupting you there, Marshal Rana, but, we have Mr. Rane back with us. He hasn't gotten a turn to speak. Mr. Rane, in terms of the efficiency, in terms of the efficacy of BrahMos, perhaps the results are there for all to see, as several of our panelists are telling us. And clearly, of course, in this case of Bholari as well, that we were just discussing, what is being claimed from the Pakistan side, retired Air Marshal talking about BrahMos, 4 of them being used to take out that AWACS there at the Bholari Airbase. Your reaction to what we are seeing before us?
First of all, kudos to Times Now for tracking me down in an unknown place. It's as good as the intelligence which our armed forces have. Kudos to them also for what they've done. And also, the design started by Dr. Cog in the wheel. The missile has been designed to hit a target.
All right. Unfortunately, we have a very poor connection. I apologize for that, Mr. Rane, and to our other guests. But that's clearly, of course, the analysis as far as, the entire BrahMos itself is concerned. And Air Marshal Rana, would you like to continue? Sorry, I had to interrupt you earlier.
Yeah, so I was saying, this is it is not only the BrahMos. If you see the entire air operations that have been there, Air Marshal Kapoor will bear with me. The air operations are very, very complex. There would have been many, many other systems that were at play, many other platforms that were at play in those operations, whether it is related to the air defense or related to the, just for all these attacks, there would have been electronic warfare at play, a lot of communication system, air defense systems, to keep our own AWACS possibly would have been there and there. So most of these systems, almost more than 80% of these systems that are involved in those missions were all indigenous, whether it was related to AWC, it is related to Su-30 platform, BrahMos, and EW systems. So I think India has come of age, and this is one point that we must celebrate, that we got, unfortunate, but we got an opportunity, a real live laboratory for our weapon system to test. This is the first time all these systems were taking to the battlefield, and all of them proved very, very well. I mean, whether you take any of our air defense systems, or you take BrahMos, or you name a system that was there right from satellite constellation onwards, I think everything proved their mettle.
Absolutely. In fact, BrahMos really coming of age, as you rightly said. India, of course, in that sense, very, very significant that we have been able to bring, or at least as far as our indigenous production capacity itself has really proved its might in battle. Mr. Atul Rane, Air Marshal Kapoor, Air Marshal VPS Rana, Dr. Anand Krishnan, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us this evening. There's some breaking news coming in at the moment. A meeting at the Prime Minister's residence has ended. The Home Minister, the National Security Advisor, External Affairs Minister were in attendance. It's a meeting that lasted around 40 minutes, and Home Minister Shah and others have been seen leaving from there. That's the information coming in at the moment. It's a crucial meeting that has been held at the Prime Minister's residence. Mohit Bhatt is with us. Mohit, take us to what really was discussed at this meeting.
Yes, in fact, NSA Ajit Doval, Home Minister Amit Shah and Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar held a meeting at the residence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And what we are being told is that the further India's action, or what exactly would be the next step, and given the fact that how Pakistan is a rogue nation, given the fact that how Pakistan is peddling a fake narrative, the meeting with the internal security, the security at the border, this particular meeting was very important. Now, Home Minister and Prime Minister Narendra Modi met separately for around 20 to 30 minutes. Now, it was first Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar, Ajit Doval and Home Minister meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi, discussing about the internal security, discussing about the further situation with Pakistan, and post that we saw that how Ajit Doval, NSA and Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar left, and one-to-one interaction between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister happened. So what we are being told as per the sources, the issue about the internal security, the next course of action against Pakistan, that was all being decided in this particular meeting. Prime Minister was briefed about the current situation at the LOC and about the internal security.
All right. Thanks so much, Mohit, for joining us with that quick update. In fact, viewers, we're going to slip into a very quick break. More news and updates coming up on the other side.